Hello folks, it's been absolutely ages since we've done one of these videos. We've been moving house and thankfully we are now all moved and in the new place. There is boxes of stuff everywhere though, but thankfully I've managed to find some of the stuff that I used to film with. And as it's been so long since we've done anything, what I'll do is a quick plot tour to show you what's going on and maybe talk about some of the things we've got planned into the winter and when spring comes along. There isn't a great deal going on at the moment. We don't have a lot growing. I will show you what we do have in and what's going on, and then again, like I said before, just talk about some of the plans for the coming year. So what I'll do, I'll just spin you. You don't want to be seeing my my face while we go all the way around here. So we'll start off right at the top here with a good old compost bin. Compost's actually coming along really nice. We started filling that up when we took the plot on in February, and it got a little bit wet towards the end of the year. There was a lot of old lettuce and things like that in there, so I've tried to put a load of cardboard in there to dry it out a little bit and kind of mix that up. So we'll check on that again in a few months time and we'll see how that's looking. We've got some patio slabs there that we picked up for free from my sister-in-law, one of her neighbours who's getting a new driveway done. So we got all those for free, which are brilliant. That will probably form the centre of Project Polytunnel, which I'll come on to when we get down the other end of the plot. So we'll have a little walk over this bit. That blooming trampoline's still there, waiting to go to the recycling centre. We'll eventually get rid of that at some point. Over here in the corner, you can see all the raspberries are just about starting to die down. They were on the plot when we took it over. There seems to be a mix of summer and summer and autumn raspberries in there, which is a bit of a pain for managing them. So once they've died down and the green leaves have disappeared, we'll cut the canes right down to only about 2 or 3 inches high. And what I'll probably do is dig some of them up and move them around a little bit, because they're right up against the fence as well, and they grow through the fence. So we'll probably do something with this area and maybe get a few more fruit bushes in here over the coming months. So we'll spin around and take a couple of steps back. This area here that's covered up with the black plastic, this is where the pumpkins grew. We had some decent success with the pumpkins. Had a couple of cracking ones for Halloween, even though the kids weren't allowed to go out on Halloween, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure what we'll do with this area yet. Yeah, one to think about what we're going to put at this end of the plot. So we'll move down here, walk along here a little bit. This is the rhubarb, so you can see the rhubarbs all died back pretty much, and desperately need to get some manure on there to get them a feed so they grow really well in the springtime. But come down here, it shows you how mild it's been recently, in that there is some little sprouts, some little red there, some red and green there, and some there as well, just showing you that the rhubarb's coming through, especially this one right at the end here. There's a few on there as well, because it's really been very mild recently. So it's unusual to see it doing that at this time of year. And if we move over here, we can see this is the little area where we've got the comfrey growing. That's all started to die back again over the winter, and hopefully come springtime that'll grow. And we use the comfrey to make the comfrey feed as a sort of free fertilizer there. So I'll just skip over this bit at the end here. These are the 2 potato beds. This one doesn't have anything in it at the moment. It's just got some old compost in it that I tipped out to some plant pots that we had growing at home. And if we move along to this one, which is a little bit more interesting, you can see this is all the green manure starting to grow in there. So we planted that, or we put that out quite a few weeks ago, and it seems to be taking ages to grow. But I guess that's not a bad thing, because we don't want to be cutting it back until we're sort of towards springtime next year. We'll be keeping an eye on that over the next few months, and I'll keep you updated as to how the sort of green manure experiment goes. So this will be the 2 potato beds again for next year, so it'll be good to compare them. We do this one with the green manure, and we'll do the one over there with either compost or well rotted horse manure. So we'll move down here a little bit. This bed here is the one that's been prepped for onions, shallots and garlic to go in. Because I've not been down for a few weeks, we've not got that in yet. There'll be another video coming soon that'll show us finishing off the prep for that bed and actually planting the stuff out. While I'm here, if I pop my camera up, look at the shed this guy's built over here. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm thinking he's either going to move into it at some point, or if we're lucky, you might open up an allotment bar in there. We can all go in there for a drink when we're allowed to. But it's some structure that he's built. We'll move along here. This bed here and the one next to it, we'll skip past these pretty quickly because they're a bit of a mess. They need all the weeds and all the little bits and pieces. There's an old cabbage in there that I've not used. It all just needs digging up and some nutrition put in the soil, ready again for next year. We also need to get a path built down between these two beds here. That's a nice quick job. We just put the either cardboard down or black plastic, and then we'll just fire the wood chips on top of it. And right at the very end of the plot here, all of this area is just covered in weed suppressant fabric. We're killing off all the weeds and grass and things that's underneath there, ready to do something with this in the springtime. I mentioned again, I've said a few times about the polytunnel. Hopefully that'll be sort of this end leading down here. We're looking at maybe 10 foot wide, 15 feet long, sort of polytunnel in there. And then once we've got that in, and we'll see how that looks, we'll look at what beds we can get in at this end and what we can maybe squeeze in next to it. Maybe some more pallet collars, another row of pallet collars down here. Speaking of pallet collars, we'll have a look at what we've got going on here. This one here, this has got a couple of different types of garlic in it. If I pull out my little sign there, this one's elephant garlic, and planted on the 25th of October. And the other one next to it, that's for the rest of the bed, again 25th of October, is another different type. I won't even try to pronounce that. I'll just show you the sign. This has taken ages to get going actually, but you can see, if I try and get closer there you go, you can just see it there in the middle. They're just starting to sprout up now and starting to grow in different places across there. Move over here. This bed here is the one we had I think we had leeks in here. That's just got cardboard on it, and it's had some nutrition put in the soil. We actually have some more baby leeks to go in there, so we'll get them planted in there once we get that stripped off. Next up, what else is growing here? We have some Brussels sprouts. We tried this new netting thing after seeing it on a different YouTube channel, and we tried putting these clips on, and it's been pretty rubbish, to be honest. I'll just show you some of the sprouts. We'll take the clip off and we'll lift the netting up. So the netting, with those clips, the netting hasn't been on too well, shall we say. And you can see something's been in eating them, especially the purple ones. Something's been having a good munch on them. I've had a good look around and I can't see any caterpillars or anything. It's maybe even a bit cold for caterpillars, you know, at the moment. But there's nothing there. Some of the sprouts have still grown pretty well though. I'll show you something interesting on these ones. So if you look at move these dead leaves out of the way. Oh, that one's gonna, let's just get rid of this dead leaf so you can see it. So if we squeeze in here, there we go. So you see those sprouts there, this one, especially this one here. It's not like a little tight ball like you see the ones in the supermarket. So what causes that is that the sprouts themselves, the sort of stem that they're growing on, hasn't been in the ground firm enough. So when it's windy, it sort of rocks about, and that causes the sprouts to get these loose leaves all around the outside edges. And you call it the sprouts blown. That's the sort of term that gets bandied about for them. Whereas these purple ones have always been a lot firmer, and they're looking a lot better. But we'll have another much about in there at some point and see if we can see if there's anything in there, see if we can spot what's eating the leaves. Because I've honestly no idea at the moment. But we'll see if we can spot something. There might be slugs or anything, but I'd be surprised when it's that high up the leaves. This is a carrot bed. Again, it's just got cardboard on the top trying to keep the weeds down. That's not had any nutrition put on top of it yet, because what we're going to do is mill the soil in there to get it really, really fine before we grow any carrots in it again. So that's a job for the springtime once the soil's dried out. If you try and sift it or mill it like I did in the other video, when the soil's wet, it just clogs everything up, and what a mess it makes of things. Another empty bed and another empty bed. And that one has had manure put on top of it. We had the onions in that one, and they were a brilliant success this year. So we'll maybe look to put some onions and shallots in there soon, actually, as well as the bed we had on the other side with the netting on top of it. I think we'll maybe put some in there pretty soon as well, because it's always interesting to compare these pallet collars that we use here. They're using the no dig method, Whereas on the other side, where we've got the hoops and the green netting, that's where the ground's been dug. So I'm always interested to compare between the two about how well things grow using the two different methods. And another empty bed and another empty bed. You can see this one, we did hoe this just the other week, but you can see there's still some weeds in there. So again, for this one, we're going to get cardboard all over the top, and we'll just fire a load of well-rotted manure on top of it, and that'll it'll suppress the weeds, and it'll get the nutrition in the soil ready for getting things planted in there in the springtime. This area here, I have to warn you, we are going to come into a bit of a messy part of the allotment that needs sorting out. One of these hoops has been knocked over while I've been away. There's an old 2 cabbages in there. We grew far too many cabbages this year. One thing that we've learned is don't grow what you're not going to use. So I tried making sauerkraut and things like that, and it didn't turn out very well. So a lot of the cabbage has just been wasted. Some of it's been put in the compost and whatnot. So yeah, it was just kind of, you know, oh, it's an allotment, we must grow cabbages. It's one of those things that you do, and we haven't used them, and it's just a bit of a waste. So I'll use this bed here. We'll use it for something else, I think. You know, we'll grow something else in there, something that we're likely to use a lot more of. What I might do, actually, just thinking about it, that's the pea frame there. That's a bit, you know, we just cobbled that together at the start of the year with stuff that were found in the shed. There's this whole area here. If we go sort of horizontally as opposed to sort of back to front, we could get a few rows of peas in there and broad beans. That might be something we might look into to do in the new year there. We'll just have a little walk up the back here. This was the sort of pallet bin thing that we built at the start of the year. It's just full of, it's all the soil that we dug out of the beds that's in there. All the weeds are dying off. Again, everything should be dead in there now. It should just be decent soil. So if we get any more raised beds and whatnot, we can use that to start filling them up, rather than having to buy compost and whatnot. So we'll get that milled, we'll get it nice and fine, and we'll use that as well. Coming over this bit again, this is just a bit of a mess, this area. We really need to sort this out. This is the strawberries under there. There's a few weeds in there, there's a bit of grass growing in there, but we've got a bit of a plan for this area. So when we move up this way, if this turns around, there we go. So you see where the dead sunflowers are. We left them there because the heads that were on them, or that have fallen off them, were full of seeds, and that's great for the birds and things over the winter. So you see there's quite a few people do it. There's some over on the plots over there as well, and it's just a bit of food there for the birds over the winter when they need things. So we had a flower bed here this year, so we're going to change things slightly. So we've got you see we've got the shed and the water butt, and we've got the paving slabs. The paving slabs, we're going to have another 2 or 3 rows that come out here, button onto the ones that are already there. This sort of area here, we're going to build a raised bed for the strawberries, because the strawberries got attacked by something this year. So we're going to raise them up, and we're going to cover them over and protect them. And then once we've cleared all that out, and we've cleared this area out here, we'll have a think about what we're going to do with this bit here, because that's quite a big chunk of plot that's nothing's been done with. So say patio area, a little seat or whatnot over there. Maybe there's a storage area along the back there, because this bit is just a bit of dumping area. We can see we've got the 6X, we've got some wood chips, blue pipe, canes, all sorts of stuff, and it just gets thrown down over there, and it's just a bit messy. So we'll maybe make something along the back there that we can chuck all of that in. In fact, if I just have a wee mooch over here, if we poke our heads over the fence, my pal Charlie, who's got the plot next to us, he's got weeds and compost and things in here at the moment, but he's just got a couple of slabs that he's put up, and he keeps all his stuff in there. So because we've got quite a few slabs, we might just try and copy his idea and do that. We might. Right, we'll have a little bit of a walk up here. We're nearly done, you'll be glad to know. We've got some that's those little baby leeks that are ready to go out. They'll not grow much over the winter, but they'll do a little bit of growing, which is better than nothing. The water butt over there, that's absolutely rammed full at the moment, because it's been raining so much recently. And I was saying before, it's been really mild round here recently. There's not really been any frost or anything like that, which I could really do with for the garlic and the sprouts that are growing. It's just been rain, just miserable rain all the time. So the water butt is absolutely rammed full. And then we've got the shed. The shed needs a little bit of TLC. We'll open the door. So I don't know if I hold this up. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. So whoever's had it before us has put some of this plastic stuff on the roof, which is great because all the water just trickles off into the gutter and we've got up there that goes into the water butt, which is absolutely brilliant. But the bitumen or whatever that's underneath it mustn't be any good. So you can see that the roof of the shed is just getting a bit damp. Speaking of the shed, it's a bit of a blooming mess at the minute. Look at this. What an absolute state of stuff in there. That all needs houked out of there, put in there properly, and whatever's rubbish going to the dump. And you can see that we've still got some onions here from the onions that we grew. They're doing grand over there, and we've got some red ones down here as well. They're not as big as the white ones. You see those massive ones over there when I was talking about. Oh, hold on, what's going on there? Oh, that was the gimbal just having a moment to itself. You can see these ones here. These were the ones that were grown by the no-dig method in one of the pallet collars, and they're so much bigger than the other ones. So we'll see if the same happens this year when we're sort of doing that. Right, 2 seconds, and I'll spin you around again. So there we go. That's been the plot to it for today. Hopefully that's got you up to speed with what we're doing and what we've got planned. So a couple of the major projects that we're going to try and get done over the next few months before we get into the real sort of growing season in the springtime is get those slabs down, get the raised bed built for the strawberries, and if there's enough money floating about in the piggy bank, invest in a polytunnel and get that built right down the far end. But we'll see, because I really want to grow the cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes and things like that in there. And given the temperatures, I know it's been mild recently, I've just been saying that, but some of the temperatures we get up here is pretty cold, and I can extend the growing season and grow some of these things that traditionally we can't grow if we get the polytunnel there. So I'll keep you up to date with how we're going on. We'll try and get another video up soon when we get the shallots and the garlic and the onions, the rest of that sort of stuff out, and just keep you up to date with what's going on over the winter. Okie dokie folks, thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you wouldn't mind giving the video a wee like there and maybe subscribing to the channel if you find them interesting, that will be great. It's absolutely free, it doesn't cost you anything, and we really appreciate it. Okie dokie folks, thanks for now, we'll see you again soon, bye bye.